Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys. Strange things do happen in this world. The message reads like this. Hello, my brother. Can you please post my story for me? I died and I rose up. My story goes on like this. I am a woman who is aged 60 years old. I am married and I have kids. In fact, I have grandchildren, some of them that are waiting to be sacrificed with the charms that I went and I got for myself. My brother, it was in the year 2008. I went to the hospital. This was when I started feeling some pains in my legs. When I went to the hospital, I was then given the frightening news that I had sugar diabetes as well as hypertension. This was just too much for me to stomach. From there on, my health was just deteriorating. This was when my husband was still alive. I was always in and out of the hospital until 2014. When 2014, I became so sick. It was a bad year for me because this sickness that I was suffering from, it then got worse. And it was in June of that year, I was seriously ill and I was taken to the hospital. I was hospitalized for about 2 weeks and I became better. I was discharged from the hospital. The day that I went home in the evening, just after I had finished eating with my kids, I didn't sleep very well. It got so worse. I was rushed back to the hospital. Then the following day, I was again hospitalized and I was in the ward whereby you could just see that there was no life there. People were just hanging on by a thread. In this ward, you could see that there was the spirit of death that was moving up and down and that was taking lives. I'm speaking of people that were about to die. So when I felt like the pains were just too much, my brother, it was somewhere around 12 midday. That was when I saw my late father. He was standing at the door of that ward, but he had someone that was standing behind him. This person seemed to be someone that had died a very long time ago. Then my father, he seemed to be very sad about something that I could not understand. And then my father just said that he was powerless. And I then saw that the person that was standing behind him, it was an angel. This angel was riding on a black horse and the angel was raising a flag. I didn't properly understand what was written on that flag, but with time I then got to know that the words, what they meant, it was death. The words were written in Latin, and this angel came to the place where I was sleeping on that hospital bed. It then struck me with that big pole where the flag was hanging from, and I then started to struggle to breathe. When I was breathing, the last thing that I noticed that there was an emergency bell that rang as the doctors and the nurses rushed straight to my bed with this other thing that they were pushing, which I thought to be that oxygen thing that they place on your mouth when you can't breathe for yourself. And from there on, my brother, I then saw that there were people that were gathered around me, but I could not properly see their faces. Then with time, I then noticed that my daughter, she was by the reception area with my husband and my other siblings. They were crying. They had been told that I had died. Fine. Then they covered me with this other red curtain, and then I could hear everything that they were telling my kids, my husband, and my siblings. They told them that it was time for them to look at me for the last time before my body could be taken to the mortuary. They came and they looked at me. Unfortunately, I could not speak with them. Then as they left my corpse, it was then taken to the mortuary. Throughout the night, I saw a lot of stuff that was going on in the mortuary. I saw spirits that were moving in and out of the hospital. I saw even evil people that were coming to gather some things that I could not even understand. They would just open up, those freezers where the bodies are kept. They would come, then they would wipe the bodies with funny clothes, and after wiping the dead bodies, then they would place those clothes and they would fold them and place them in these other baskets. Then the baskets will just disappear. I don't know if these were real men or if they were just demonic forces. In the meantime, my husband and his people, they were already like preparing for my funeral. But what happened is that the next thing I found myself, I was lying again on the bed. So the story was that there was one who was working in the mortuary. When he was moving around, he heard that there was movement in that small fridge where they had packed my body, and they were thinking that I was dead. When he heard the movement, he thought that maybe this was a ghost. He then called his supervisors. They came and they opened it up, and they said that they saw that my body was having these spasms and it was moving up and down. I was even moving my fingers. So they rushed me into another ward, and they were surprised when they connected me to the machines and they saw that my heart was still beating but really faintly. Then they made a plan for me to be resurrected again. My brother, when I heard this story, I was so powerless with everything that had happened. With time, my brother, I started going to church. This was in 2014. I became like a devoted Christian. Anything that was about God, I was always in the forefront. Then I saw that angel again. This time around, it was on a Friday. We were supposed to go for this other all-night prayer. So my husband and my kids, they were the first ones to go, and I was left behind. I was just like moving around, not even understanding what I was doing really. So by the time that I got to the house, even though at the church where I used to attend to, you could walk on foot for about 15 minutes, you would have already gotten to the church. But it was like dark, really dark. As I was walking, I started to feel that there was something or someone that was following me behind. When I turned around, I saw that there was nothing. When I arrived at church, when I was about to enter into the church gate, I then saw that same angel that I had seen when I was in hospital, that same dark angel. That angel then said that, so I resurrected you so that you can double stab me like this. So I could not understand. I then just collapsed. But the words that the angel said to me, like the reason as to why I resurrected you was not for you to go to church. It stuck in my mind. So people that found me collapsed to the ground, they didn't take me into church. Maybe if they had taken me into church, I was going to be okay. But they rushed me to the hospital where I found that same angel, and the angel was waiting for me. It came and it said that this time around, it was not going to feel sorry for me, but it was going to harvest my soul. So I started pleading with that dark angel, and I said that what was it wanted from me. And it then said that it was going to give me anything that I wanted in this world, but at the end of the day, I was supposed to fight on its own side. So at that time, I could not understand what it meant when it said that it wanted to fight for me, because I didn't have any powers at all. I was just a normal woman. Then that angel said that, don't you know that you are gifted? You have a prophetic gift. All of your life, you have been sitting on that prophetic gift. It then took me like I saw my own life flashing before me as if someone was rewinding a movie. I then saw that when my mother gave birth to me, there was a bright, tall, bright figure that stood beside my mom when she was giving birth to me, and I saw that tall, bright figure entering into my body. Then that dark angel said that, you see, that is the gift that you have been holding inside your body all of your life, but I want you to help me out. So my brother, what then happened was that this angel told me that it was going to give me an option to live again and to worship the Lord, but I was not going to worship the Lord with my heart. I will just go to church, preach, but not preach with my heart. It was going to give me powers, but when it would have given me these powers, I was supposed to lead people astray. Some of the details, I cannot give you the details as to how I lead some people that I attend the same church with. I cannot tell you. And this thing, it came at a surprise. It told me that some of my offspring, they had to die so as to replace the soul that was going to be missing in the underworld. So I was then asked, whom amongst my offspring I wanted to be sacrificed first, though my firstborn was the one that was chosen. So in 2015, that was when my firstborn daughter passed away. From there on, my granddaughter has passed away, and in 2025 there is another one amongst my offspring that is supposed to die. I have powers, my brother, to see things that have not yet happened. That is why a lot of people in church, they always listen to my advice. People, they can come, like the young couple, they do come to my house just looking and asking for advice, and I make sure that the advice that I would give them, it will be advice that will be full of poison, such that their marriage will never last. Some of the details I cannot share with you, but this is my own story, my brother. Your dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our listener right there. So when I first listened to her voice note, I thought that maybe when she said the angel came and rescued her, I thought that it was an angel of light. It then shocked me when she said that this angel was actually standing in her way and told her that if she was going to get inside the church, she was going to die. Strange things do happen in this world.